All right, we ready? Ready to go? All right. She's not coming. All right, well, we are going to call this regularly scheduled planning and zoning meeting to order. Today's date is March 2nd, our first meeting in March, 6 p.m. And first thing I'll do is call the roll. Madam Attorney, you're going to call the roll? Or who's doing that? I'll call it. Madam Polo? Madam Thomas? Madam Carey? Yeah. Madam Parker?
Here.
Sir Naeem Mirched.
Sir, check here.
So Ms. Polo and Ms. Thomas are out. And we'll have an approval of the agenda, but we have a couple of changes that Ms. Stacy is going to come read to us whenever she gets done talking to Jordan.
Am I on? There I am. Okay. Good evening. This is the memo that I sent the mayor regarding some of the items on the agenda. I just want the public to know what changes we've made since the ad went out. So I've summarized the changes to the agenda and advertisements below. Because of the initial timing on some of the agenda items and the requirements for advertising on the Alachua County website, we advertise items that are no longer going to be heard this evening. The agenda as published is accurate except for the following. We are removing Easton from the CPA 2609 and LDR 2611. That has to be go to the state as a large scale, so we'll be bringing that back in April. And SDP 2510 is quasi-judicial, not legislative on your actual agenda. Since the ad and letters went out on the items advertised, I just want the public to know, in case they attend, certain items would not be heard this evening. The two large-scale items related to the Long Cala CPA 2606 and LDR 2607 were already advertised and heard at the PZB under annexation number 40 and now need to move to the City Commission. Those were listed as items number 1 and number 2 on the ad. Item number 8 on the ad notice, LDR 2808 Sandia rezoning, will not be heard this evening. It will come back at another meeting to be determined. That's just the rezoning. The land use will be heard this evening. And item number 10 on the advertisement notice, variance 2601, parking variance for Harvest Singularity is not necessary because of the building being in large part a greenhouse.
Okay. All right, as long as you got all those changes down, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
All right. Board Member Urched and Board Member Carey on the second. Any discussion or further discussion? Seeing none, any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Please rise if you can for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much. We just had one item on the consent agenda. As consent, it's not debatable. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner or Board Member Urched and Board Member Parker on the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimous 3-0. First public hearing, small scale land use map amendment. Madam Attorney, you have something to read? No? Okay. Go ahead. And just a quick reminder, members, the microphone equals video. No mic, no video.
All right. Good evening. Stacy Hectus with the Community Development Department. Your first item for action this evening is the legislative public hearing for your future land use map amendment for our city-owned parks. You'll remember last month we did a few parks. We have a few more parks that we need to do, and then we'll be bringing back all in April the city-owned parcels that are not parks. So the recommended motion for this evening would be to the City Commission to approve ordinance amending the future land use map from recreation and mixed use to public facilities and land use on the city-owned properties of Freddie Warmack Park. If approved, the first reading of the ordinance will be held on Monday, March 23rd, 2026. Oops, wrong way. I'm getting used to this mouse. Here's the park. Here shows the current recreation to future public. And that's a small-scale future land use map amendment to public facilities on Freddie Warmack Park.
Thank you, Ms. Hectus. So for the members of the public, all we're doing is kind of an administrative change. These are zoned a little bit differently. We created a category for public spaces that we actually own. So we're just sort of getting everything in line. But we require everybody to do this, and we're subjecting ourselves to the same rules. That's what we're doing. So everything that's public space is just going to be eventually put into this public space category of zoning. That's all. Is there any discussion from the board? Any discussion from the public on the item? Come on up. Just come to the microphone. You'll have 2 minutes. Just introduce yourself first.
Beth Brenman, and I live right behind Freddie Warmack Park. My fence is right there.
Uh-huh.
What could possibly be going on there?
Good question. And like I was just saying, we have a number of different properties around the city. And there are a couple of them actually in different zoning categories. A while back, we created a public property zoning category. So we're just kind of reorienting all of them under that specific name. But the uses are pretty much exactly the same. There's really no changes. And the city commission has no desire to change it. So if your fear is that we're going to change it into something else, like a city hall or a fire station, that's not on the table.
So it's a park and it's going to stay
Yes,
a
ma'am.
park?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And what was your name again?
Beth Brenman.
Can
I
you just-
signed the sheet.
Okay, so we'll get it off there. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Any other public comment or question? Seeing none, back to the board. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Need a motion?
Well, I guess we could do that first.
Okay, I motion.
All right, Ms. Parker on the motion
Second.
and Ms. Carey on the second.
Oh, I see what's going on here.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Okay. Item number 3 is quasi judicial. It's a city-initiated rezoning, which is the rezoning component of this LDR. And forgive me, if it's illegal, I misspoke saying it was a rezoning earlier, but either way, same ultimate result. So we're entering a quasi-judicial procedure. This means that the board will stop being a legislative board and become a judicial board, which means that we have to follow certain rules and adhere to different standards of decision-making. Primary rule we must follow concerns testimony, and the substantial and competent evidence standard must be met when the judicial board makes a decision. This standard states the following, quote, "All public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. The giving of opinion testimony is limited to experts. Closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record." I'm now going to ask the city attorney to read into the record the ordinance resolution by title only.
We do have a new process now. What comes to the Planning and Zoning Board are petitions only. You all will not see ordinances and resolutions anymore. Those are adopted by the City Commission. So,
Very good. And you want to read in what we're doing?
Me.
You're going to get it? Okay. So we're not swearing anybody in either?
we can. I believe your rules still call for swearing in for quasi-judicial. So if anyone plans to provide testimony on this item, if you'll stand and raise your hand. And I will read a statement, and then if you'll just affirm yes. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good.
All right, thank you. Before we begin, we need to disclose any ex parte communication and disclose whether any of the member physically inspected the property. Ex parte communications are conversations or transmission of information that may have bearing or influence on any voting member's decision. Ms. Carey?
No.
Mr. Ched?
I have a question for the attorney. As a rec coach that I coach consistently for Newberry, and I'm involved heavily in the Parks and Recs department, does that have anything to do with this? Like, do I have anything to ex parte myself. I don't think I do, but I just want to make sure for the record.
No, the best thing to state for the record, it sounds like you've thought through it. Do you feel that you can be an impartial decision maker?
Yes.
Very good. Then that's the test.
Okay. Ms. Parker? No. Okay. All right, very good. So the order of presentations will be the following: staff overview, applicant, which is ourselves. Recommendation, have not been contacted by any third-party interveners, so the public will have 3 minutes to chime in. And then the board through the chair may ask questions of the staff/applicant here. We'll do final argument if applicable. The city attorney will read into the decision-making body the applicable law and factual findings. We'll deliberate and take a motion as to whether approve with conditions, deny, or continue the application. Ms. Hectus, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. This is the companion rezoning for those parcels that we just discussed, which it ends up just being the one, Freddie Warmack, since Easton was removed for a large scale. We recommend for you all to recommend to the City Commission to approve the ordinance amending the zoning map from residential single-family to public facility zoning on city-owned properties of Freddie Warmack Park. If approved, the first reading of the ordinance will be held on Monday, March 23rd at 2026, right here in this office, or in this room. This is showing the change from the, excuse me, the rezoning from the single-family residential to the public facilities. And that is exactly what is happening this evening, the rezoning to the public facilities for the city-owned park, including Freddie Warmack Park. I can answer any questions if you have any.
Okay, go to the public. Does any member of the public wish to have any question or anything? Okay. Okay, come on up to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes. Just introduce yourself first into the record. Did you sign in over here that we
I
have the?
did,
Okay, good.
yes.
Sounds-
Yeah, my name's Kelly Mitchell. I'm a new resident here in
Yes.
Newberry. Can we go back to the map?
Sure.
Is that possible? I just have a question.
Sure.
For the rezoning, I see Freddie Warmack, it's in yellow and then in blue.
Right.
Next to it, we see the blue.
Yep.
Is that also,
Here.
yeah, in consideration for the zoning change?
No, the colors just indicate what the zoning categories are.
Right.
So like when I was saying earlier, how we have some under these different zoning categories, this is a perfect example because you see what, historically, we've had a park listed as single-family residential zoning.
Okay,
We don't want that.
No.
So we want to move it to public. So that's what you're seeing on paper is
Right.
that change to make it public space.
so I guess my question is the zone in blue there, because I know that's like scrub and woodland right now.
Yes.
Is that gonna change at all?
Oh, no. This diagram just shows some of the other zoning categories that are in the area. So
Okay,
sometimes we'll have something come up that is like changing it to a commercial,
okay. Is
but
that
it will show that there's a bunch of residential around there
Is
to
that-
let the board and the public know,
Yeah.
hey, why would we want to put a commercial right in the middle of a bunch of residential, for
I
example?
guess my other question is that city-owned property in the blue?
No, sir.
Okay, then that's it.
I think that's the,
This is the light, this is the USDA property?
isn't that the one that we looked at 2 months ago?
Yeah.
No, I thought that was the one that was rezoned for like a storage or something.
No.
Nope,
no.
okay, I
It's
misunderstood.
the USDA property, if I'm not right.
Oh, the USDA, okay.
Okay, that's it.
You got it?
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? 3 minutes? Seeing none? Okay. I assume you're not going to cross-examine it yourself, so if the decision-making body has any questions of staff/applicant,
I had one question.
yes, ma'am.
Stacy, can you explain the difference between the current 40% maximum ground cover that's with the current zoning to when it goes to public facilities to the 80% ISR? I know that that's in the packet, but for the general layman's terms, the community, the residents that are around there, can you explain how that would differentiate?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's the coverage of what can be actually placed on the parks, the properties. The 80% is what the public facilities allows. Some of our other parks, not this park, but some of our other parks that we have major improvement plans on, like Champions and Easton, Berry Park right downtown. We have grand plans for those parks, and right now, as they're zoned, not in this case with the single family, but in the case of recreation, it's only a 20% coverage, and those are very active parks. So we need more available potential to build on those existing parks because they are such active parks. They're not passive parks.
And just to clarify, just because it says 80% does not mean that's the
Oh,
intent
no,
of it.
no.
It's just that is the generalization for all use under city.
Yes.
I want to make that very clear
That's
because
clear,
that was
yes.
something I asked the last time when we
Yep.
did all the small parks.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because you're surrounded by residents. We are thinking about you being up here.
Yep.
That is not the plan. If you've ever seen any of the workshops that are coming up
Yep.
for this, it's actually going to be generated for more use for the families that are nearby.
That is correct.
Mr. Chid, your light's on?
I did, but she pretty much took my thunder.
Ms.
I was
Parker?
just, I was gonna relay something that Paul said, you know, on our first meeting that we had this. You know, I'm a big advocate for our parks, and I was too concerned that, you know, similar to Beth, you're concerned of like parks being turned into something else. That's like the last thing that I believe that any of us want. I certainly don't want it. I'm a big advocate for our parks and recs to grow, and I'm actually excited to see that we're actually turning it from single family to more of a park rec space, so we have more field of play, so.
Ms. Parker?
I just to feed into that, if you've attended or get a chance to attend any of those workshops about those parks, it is very exciting what they have planned, and it is just to make them even better for all of the residents. So big things coming, but in a positive way, so.
We actually have parks as a discussion item next Monday night on the commission meeting at the end of the meeting too, by the way. Okay, if there is no further debate here, I'll entertain a motion.
A motion.
So, second.
Ms. Parker on the motion, Mr. Urchet on the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Ms. Parker? Aye. Okay. Motion passes 3-0. Okay, moving on to item number 4. We'll go back to the legislative. City initiated large-scale comprehensive plan amendment, CPA 2610. Ms. Hectus, you have the floor.
Yes. Oh, wait, I think we're not on the
Are we
right
taking this one out?
Yes, so,
It says large scale, which threw me a little bit. but-
so the item that's next is number 6. Sorry, 5 and 6 are next.
So 4 was
Wait,
one of the
I'm
ones
sorry.
we removed?
Hold on, I don't
just
know
have an
what's-
old,
This
I have an old
agenda is-
edit up here, I guess.
Oh, so, sorry, 1 second.
Skip 5-2, correct? That's also.
I have 2610.
Yeah, that's the rezoning. This is number 5 is for the rezoning.
I was just checking, because I know one of them was a land use rezoning, land use, rezoning.
Number 5 is a rezoning for Champions. That's the one?
No, Champions was removed,
Right.
but, let me see I'm sorry, I had my memo up here, I don't have my memo. Hold on 1 second. Oh, sorry, yes. Well, then it's not in the right order. Oh, yes, it is. Sorry. I apologize for that. We have so many of these parks coming forward. I apologize. Should have just gone through with the item. I apologize for that. We're doing the transmittal hearing for a large-scale future land use map amendment for city-owned parks. This is the one that we were talking about at the first parks one that was a large scale because it's adjacent to each other and it totals 80 acres. So those have to go to the state for review. So we would recommend that we transmit, when you want to recommend, you make your recommendation to the city commission, it would be to transmit the large-scale amendment to the future land use map from agriculture and plan development to public facilities and land use on the city-owned properties of Champions and Champions South. So there's north and south. And if approved, the transmittal hearing and first reading of the ordinance will be held on Monday, March 23rd, 2026, right here. This is the map showing where they currently are. This is the map showing what they would be rezoned to, which is the public facilities, the land use change to public facilities. And that would be the summary, which would be the large-scale land use amendment, transmittal to the commission for Champions Park and Champions Park South.
Okay. Any questions, board members? Just pretty much like Freddie Warmack, but we got to send this one to the state because
That's
of the
correct.
size.
It's the size, that's correct.
No further discussion, anything from the public, any question, comment? Seeing none. All those on the board, please signify by saying aye. If you, we need a motion, excuse me, right?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Parker on the motion, Ms. Carey on the second. And if there's no further deliberation, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, motion passes 3-0. So we're back into quasi judicial, city-initiated rezoning LDR 2612. We do have a couple other people that entered the room, so let me reread the procedure one more time. So we're entering a quasi judicial procedure. This means that the board will stop being a legislative body and or a recommendation body and become a judicial board recommendation body, which means that we have to follow certain rules and adhere to a different standard of decision-making. The primary rule we must follow concerns testimony, and the substantial and competent evidence standard must be met when the judicial board recommendation body makes a decision. The standard states the following: all public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. Giving of opinion testimony is limited to expert. Closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record. Madam Attorney, can you reiterate what you were saying a second ago about the recommendations or something?
New
What
process.
was the word you
The
used?
new process.
Yes, these are just petitions that
Petitions,
you all,
that's the
basically
word.
the application is what you're considering and all of the backup with the application.
Okay. And any of the people that, Alan or Carly, were you planning on talking on the Champions Park that need to be sworn in? Okay, all right. Yes, sir, you bet. Okay, so we'll disclose ex parte communications on this item. Madam Carey,
None.
Mr. Ched,
No.
Madam Parker?
No.
None, seeing none, and I do not either. Okay, staff overview. We are our own applicant, so that will be combined. Following Ms. Hectus's presentation, we'll have 3 minutes for public comment. And then we'll move to the decision-making body, asking questions of the staff / applicant through the chair, and move to approve with conditions, continue or deny the application in closing. Ms. Hectus, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. This is the companion rezoning for this Champions land use. This is, if you were to recommend to the city commission, you'd be recommending rezoning from agriculture and plan development to public facilities on the city-owned properties of Champions Park and Champions Park South. If this was approved tonight, the first reading of the ordinance will be held on Monday, March 23rd, 2026. Again, here are those same zoning categories on those two parks. And here is where, since they're contiguous, they meet the 80-acre mark. For the last item to go to the state, the rezonings do not have to go to the state. So rezoning to public facilities for city-owned parks, including Champions Park and Champions Park South.
Very good. Any members of the public have a question about this? This is the baseball fields and the 40 acres on the south side of the baseball fields. Again, changing it. Sir? Is that like at 30th Street? Yes, sir. Yep, from south of 30th, yep, down. So no members of the public have a question? Okay. We'll come back to the board if there's no further discussion or of questions of the staff? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ched on the motion, Ms. Parker on the second. Then no further deliberation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous. Mhm. We're on 6, correct? Comprehensive Plan Amendment CPA 2404?
That is correct.
All right. Do you have anything to read, Madam Attorney? Okay, Ms. Hectus, you have the floor then.
All right. Good evening again. This is not parks. This is another proposed development coming through. This is a large-scale future land use map amendment. This will be the transmittal hearing. It's large enough that it needs to go to the state because it's 160 plus plus or minus 160 acres. Right now, it's going to be changed from agriculture to residential low density, and the project name is Sandia West. So the recommendation would be for, recommended to the city commission to transmit this large-scale amendment to Florida Commerce for the 45-day expedited review. And if forwarded to the city commission, that first reading and transmittal hearing would be on March 23rd, 2026. This is, the overview would be that this is a large-scale future land use map amendment from agriculture to residential low density. One home per four dwelling units per acre, sorry. And the property location is generally located a quarter mile north of Southwest 46th Ave, County Road 28, and 3/4 of a mile west of US Highway 2741, State Road 45, and to the west of Sandia Park and Champions Park. Here's an aerial location of that parcel. Parcel number 02573-000-000. The applicant is NV5 Global, Inc., and the owner is SMD Equity LLC. And like I said earlier, this is a proposed use of residential low density, 4 dwelling units per acre. Here is the current and proposed future land use. On the left is the agriculture, and on the right is the close-up of it going from that to residential low density. And the recommendation would be, as mentioned before, but the applicant is also here, and I have got it on their slide for them to move forward as well.
Good afternoon, Craig Brazier with NV5. I'll move quickly through a couple of slides. Staff pretty much covered everything. This is the land use amendment portion of this project. Do know that there has been a companion PD rezoning application filed as well. Because the land use application has to go off to the state, it can start a little earlier because we have to build in that time. So with the PD or PRD in this situation, planned residential development, will include specific conditions for the site as well as a development agreement. As many of you are aware, Sandia Park phases 1 and 2 are right adjacent to this. This will connect to that. That property sits in between the baseball fields and this site, so it will all be interconnected. This project, being requested by the underlying future land use, will allow single-family residential. And the PD will even further restrict that 4 units in acre density. This is the timeline that this application has followed. We've been working on this one for quite a while. As is often the case with PDs and development agreements, you're hashing out a lot of the details of the specific project and improvements in those documents. So those will all be coming at a later date, but that's why this has had a longer timeline than some projects may have. Again, here's a map of where the property sits. You can see Champions Park there to the east and its relation to 2741. It is, that green line is the city's urban service area. So this is within the portion of the city that they have designated for growth. So this is intended to be served by utilities and support the densities that is typically associated with urban development and where you have utilities to support such growth.
We just do one at a time, hold on.
The purple
Get it.
line.
We'll get you though.
The purple line up since it's out there is the city boundary. So you can see. I mean, the Newberry city boundary in a lot of places looks a little bit like Swiss cheese. So like right here, you can see how it's labeled. This is technically unincorporated Alachua County. Then right there is the city of Newberry. So really, what you see outlined in purple, the way this map is laid out, are all the parcels that are technically in unincorporated Alachua County. They're just never annexed in. And a lot of this is same, permits 4 dwelling units per acre. We're also filing a PRD application, which will further reduce that. This application is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. These are some of the specific policies, and both our application materials and the city staff report really documents this consistency well. The staff report does recommend that you approve and pass on to the city commission with a recommendation for approval and transmitting to the state. We ask that you do the same thing and be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay. Any member of the board have a question of the applicant or staff to start with? Board member Chet?
I was gonna ask, what do the original LDRs call for on this?
Meaning?
Like you said, you're going to 4 homes per acre?
It's agricultural, so going from ag to low density.
So it's going from one per 5, right?
Right.
To, okay.
Correct. But is within the urban services area for the city.
Ms. Carey?
I had a question because I know the new comp plan went into effect after the original application. I guess this would go to our staff. Would this follow the old comp plan or the currently in the new comp plan?
Either way, it meets.
There's no grandfathering or anything as far as that we have to worry about?
No.
Okay. And then I know that there's been a lot of questions, my second question, regarding utilities, capacity and so forth. Is the main reason why it's being transmitted to the state because of this size, so that capacity can be available at the time of when building commences? Is that usually how it works so that people understand, or, because there's a lot of,
No, it's the acreage size.
Just-
That makes it go to the state. The state then sends it out to all the state agencies, FDOT, DEP,
Exactly.
everybody to
That's
review it.
exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
To review it. Then they come back with all their comments. We summarize any of those comments, share them with the applicant, and address those comments at the adoption hearing.
Okay.
So,
The reason why I asked that is because I know when it talks about groundwater, waste and all that, it's based on capacity. They would be eligible at the time, but since there's a lot of other developments at the same time, I just wanted to make sure that was addressed, that,
well, the nice thing is when you see the actual PRD, when it comes forward on the zoning, and if this passes muster with the state and comes back, you'll see the staff report will be very explicit in where the water comes in, where the wastewater comes in, where the lift station is, how it will carry. That all works through that application along with the site and development plan, or I'm sorry, the plat that will come forward will have all that tied into it as well.
perfect. Thank you for explaining that, those watching at home.
Ms. Parker, did you have a comment or question of the applicant or staff? Well, we still have to go to the public, so you can wait if you want.
I was just kind of clarifying, but you would be the best. But this is just rezoning. Planned use, but there'll be like a plan that'll come forward and it'll have all of that they met the criteria for wastewater and.
Yes, this is their land use change from agriculture to the
Right.
low-density residential. There's many, we have to bring the rezoning back after this comes back from the state, and then they have to still plat these, of which you don't see much of the platting anymore, but you'll see in the rezoning some of the different pieces of the puzzle come together. We have to assess it based on services, and we will have done that.
Right. It wouldn't get approved further if it didn't come forward with all of that figured out.
Okay.
Can we see the map real quick? I'm just curious.
Okay.
So the project site is surrounded currently by ag. Who owns all that space around where the planned development is trying to come in?
I would like to clarify that between this site and the ball fields, this is where Sandia Town Park Phases 1 and 2 are approved.
That was a really good one.
Okay, yeah, we can go back.
Shows the,
So that area there outlined, Sandia Town Park, which is a mixed-use development, which the long-term plan, because Mr. Davis and his family donated the land for Nations Park way back. And it was always to kind of create this mixed-use development around the park to support visitors and really, enhance the experience with that ballpark being at the center. I mean, as you've seen, it brings a lot of people into town. So, right now we're working on the infrastructure to support that development, which is already approved, has land use and zoning, and hotels, retail, and some residential associated with it, but it's more of a different style of residential. So that is, and then the remainder is a mix of agricultural type uses, yes.
Okay. I just wanted clarity because like the other map that you showed just shows like
Sure, it just shows a big.
planned development in the middle of smack of agriculture.
Sure.
And it doesn't show what's already been approved previously. So any kind of continuity, it just looks like you're just throwing planned development in the middle of something.
Sure, and I think staff's maps would show some of that, even though it's slightly unfortunate that the city's color for planned development land use, it happens to be green. So even on that map, you couldn't really see that it was a contrast with the agriculture because that color is also green, but it has already been master planned for a mixed-use project as well.
Maybe this comes later, but connecting to Southwest 30th, I know that I read that there will be some through streets through the already planned development area to connect to this part. Will it have direct access to Southwest 30th as well?
Yes, well, this will not have, it is obviously not adjacent to Southwest 30th. It is going to
no
rely on the infrastructure in those phases
that.
1 and 2, yeah.
Okay.
So it is
So
going to
you'll be
connect
going
internally.
through all of that to get to
That is
this
correct.
back part?
That is correct. And that level of detail will come forward in the PRD conditions and in the development agreement that is adopted concurrently with all that. It will explicitly explain very specific improvements that have to be made based on a traffic analysis, and it will require future utility assessments every time development comes in to make sure that you have capacity, because regardless of what happens at land use and zoning, when it comes time to build, if there's no capacity, it's you don't go
Not
anywhere.
building.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
That all you have, Ms. Parker? Okay.
Are we gonna be able to circle back? I'm interested to hear what some of the residents or comments have to say, so we can ask questions afterwards.
We'll go to them next. I'll just preface, we got, is it 2 minutes or 3 minutes? No, that was on the quad. No, don't worry. Okay, so we just kind of zoom out a little bit. So the process is, correct me if I'm wrong, Stacy. So when we have things like this that are changed, you have the future land use is the first thing that goes. Because of the size of this one, it goes to the state. It could take 45 days for the state to review it and send it back. Then it goes to another stage where there is a rezoning. It doesn't, just because it comes back to the state, doesn't mean that it automatically comes to rezoning right after that. That's up to the applicant. They could take a month to do that. They could take 10 years to do that. And also, when those things do come forward, they'll actually have all the details, where the houses will be, where the roads will be, how they're all serviced. It's a huge packet that's got where the ground is and what the elevations are and all those sorts of things. And then there's multiple hearings of that each time it comes before the commission. So those will come back before this board, then they'll go to the commission if it's all squared away and meets all the boxes and checks all the items, cross all the Ts, dots all the Is for the commission. Then the commission will actually read, and it'll go through 2 readings. Even at that point, if it passes everything, doesn't mean the application can actually move forward with it. They could sit on it for 10 years if they wanted to. So I didn't want to give you the impression that what happens here tonight means they're going to start building houses tomorrow. So with that, I'll open the floor to any members of the public. We'll put 3 minutes on the clock. Just come up to the podium and introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Rich, and I live like 10 houses away from there. And first thing I say is, that square, it doesn't look right because I should see 46th on one side and 30th way up here. I don't see either of those roads on there. So I'm sort of a little bit lost as to where that is. I know where it is because I drive by it every day.
Sure. I'll show you.
But it's a really terrible map.
So 40th would be down here.
46th, you mean?
40, excuse me, yes. And 30th is here.
But then that means that that blue area
this
comes
is-
down to 40th, 46th.
Part of that does come down to 46.
Oh,
Yeah.
so part of it
So
will be
this
that
is
blue park and
from-
part of it
this
will
is
be the
from
yellow
s-
park.
This is from the southwest looking northeast towards Champions.
Okay.
So this is 46.
Ah, got it. Now I can see. Okay. Now, and the yellow square is where they're building the houses. Well, yeah.
This is,
The residences, 4 families per acre.
yeah, and just to clarify, this is just the zoning change.
Right.
Sorry, the land use
But-
change.
But my questions are
Yep.
real quick at this point. There will be roads in this development, right?
Yes.
And they will be paved with
Yes.
sewers.
Yes.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
Everything will be septic system, not drain fields and stuff, but a real distributed plumbing system, like in the
Yes, sir.
city?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. And these houses, are they all houses? Are they condos? Are they mobile homes? What are they?
So we won't technically and specifically know till the application comes before us, which is further down the road. So that's like step 3. We're kind of on like step 1 right now.
Okay, well, I'm just interested because I live there.
Well, stay tuned. You'll get the other notices when
Okay,
those
how
do
do I
come
get
back.
there? By signing up there?
Yeah, just like you got the one that you were holding a minute ago.
Okay.
Same way. Yeah.
Well,
you can
and,
s- we
and
can put
also
you on
I
the
will
email.
say, I'm a,
Mr. Mayor, if I may,
Thanks, Rick.
Chair. I guess one of the answers that could be answered today to Rich's question is the fact that this is being asked for 4 per acre. So technically a condo, townhome, whatnot, if I'm not mistaken, is not something that's on this agenda at all. Right. Yeah, So I'm not
think of
trying to I'm not trying to get ahead, but to answer a question of a concern of
that is
apartments or condos or townhomes and really smashing in together, that,
Yes.
to the engineers, the request is one house per quarter acre, which
It
is
it is
4.
intended to be single-family platted residential homes.
Think of many of the other subdivisions in the area that are on about a quarter acre a house.
zero lot lines there.
Well,
Well,
quarter acre is
quarter
definitely
acre,
not.
so
zero.
think of like, what's my own neighborhood?
Newberry Oaks or
Newberry Oaks over there by the equestrian center. All the houses are generally on a quarter acre. There might be a few bigger, but most of the time it's about a quarter acre.
The
and-
Countryway subdivision that's just north of you,
Let's not talk over each other.
oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, I'm
I was
good.
I was giving her so right north of you is Country Way. A lot of those, the brick style homes that you see there, a lot of those are sitting on anywhere between 0.20 acres, which is almost a quarter acre, to 0.33. The subdivision next to you, Countryway Town Square, the homes on the south side, not the cottages, those are built on almost quarter acre lots. So those aren't 0 lot lines. 0 lot lines, I would attest, would be the subdivision directly in front of the middle school. Just to give you an idea what a 0 lot line would look compared to a quarter
I mean,
acre.
if you think of, the term traditional subdivision, traditional neighborhood, not in, but it's that. It's a single-family lot with setbacks and lot sizes and,
Any other members of the public have any question? Yes, sir. Come on up. So just introduce yourself and you'll have 3 minutes.
And my name's Bruce Coleman. And I live right there on that side of it. I got 20 acres. And I was told by our ex-mayor that they were gonna put a barrier around between our properties and the new properties.
Yes, sir.
Is that still gonna happen?
We will, so I don't want to get too far out. That will come back when we get the actual application with the PRD, which is the planned residential development. That will have all those details on there. If that's a concern with you, I can certainly note it to the commission later on,
Well,
but it'll get confirmed, that's not before us tonight. That will actually come with the application for the zoning change.
Well, I sat with me and Jack Coleman and Carol
Okay.
in the old place with the planning thing, and they said that they were going to do that.
Okay,
And Jordan Marlowe said that again.
Okay.
He told me that it was going to happen,
okay,
to put a divider between the people. Who, like I said, I got 20 acres there, and there's 20 acres to the east of me
okay,
that goes in that other part.
okay. I got you. Yeah, what, the ruling on that comes with the planned residential development application. That detail will be in the planned residential application when it comes before us for the rezoning part.
Right.
Okay? So regardless of what anybody ever says, it's got to be on that paper.
Yeah.
So we'll eventually get there, but I'll try to make a mental note about I assume that's a concern that something you
Yeah,
want,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Okay, you got it.
Because there's going to be 500 houses to my west with kids and dogs and everything else that will be coming that way.
Yes, sir,
Oh, I'm
Mr.
telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So anyway,
gotcha.
and anyway, I did something else. I'll leave that alone.
Okay. You're welcome. Anybody else?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Paul Hornby, board members. Some of my questions I think have been answered, and I'm going off of the information that the city's submitted in the past. I don't know if there's a more recent update. But just to be clear on the Sandia Town Park Plan Development, which is apparently just adjacent.
Yeah, it's the property to the east that's basically between this property and and the
Right.
baseball fields.
And I don't know how much of this has been approved. It's still in discussions, what part of the process it's in. But just to clarify what's on paper, it's 1,450 residential units, single and multifamily, 400 hotel rooms, 1,000-seat baseball stadium, 150,000 square feet sports arena, 300,000 square feet non-residential, 550,000 square feet of light industrial, and now 500 homes next to that. It seems like a lot to me. And I know this is on the edge of the urban service area, and I've stated this multiple times. It's just my personal opinion that as you get further out in the urban service area, you have just larger lot sizes, okay? And I know you just covered that this isn't gonna be zero lot lines. It still seems kind of heavy to me, when as you get further out, I just think it should be just larger lots, larger homes. And then as you get closer to town, it gets, more intense development. That makes sense to me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, the town park part has been approved. All that stuff has been approved, was approved a while ago. And to Mr. Hornby's point about getting bigger as you go outside, I think that was the guidance that the commission used when we set the actual urban services area. Because the urban service area is about this big, but the city of Newberry is much, much bigger. So outside of that urban services area, you would see different size lots and those sort of things. And the urban service area is the sort of on-paper signal from the city to potential developers or property owners of any property that would be serviced by a city utility, like a sewer system or power. So it's just concentrated in that area. Let's say 2 miles from the light, a little bit more in some areas, but hopefully that makes sense. Does anybody else have any other comment on the zoning change before us here for that piece? Seeing none? Is there any other further discussion? Ms. Parker, I can't remember if you made your comment or you were still waiting? Okay. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So I was around when the original, if I'm not mistaken, the original portion that's been approved. Nothing has occurred yet on that portion. You're coming before, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. I'm all about legal, I'm all about making sure it's done the right way, but I'm also looking at, we already approved a pretty significant portion around Champions Park. Nothing's really moved on that. It's been sitting approved. We're asking for another approval of 500 homes, which I'm a little hesitant on the whole sense of like, well, nothing's been done on this part yet. You're asking for even more. And it's like, how long is this going to be sitting on approvals? Because technically, I mean, so you can know where I'm coming from. When I moved to Newberry about 12 years ago, I was getting like, hey, why are all these things happening, whatnot? And all the answers that I always get is, well, this was approved back in 1998. And it's like, well, dude, we're in 2012.
Yeah, I can kind of address that a little bit.
Well,
So your point's well taken, and actually since then, the commission has
Put a 10-year.
put time limits on some of this stuff. So when the application comes back, that could potentially be part of that then.
So where I was getting at to this was, what, as an applicant, and you're working with the applicant on this other part, what's the status on the hotel that we were promised, so Gainesville can stop getting all our hotel money on these games, the commercial spots, we're looking to approve another 500 homes, but nothing's moved on this land yet for Champions. Like, we've talked about being a Little League World Series, and I would love to see that. As a coach, I'm dying to see that happen in our town. So I figured, well, I got you.
Absolutely. So what you don't see, and because it hasn't come before you yet, but we are well into engineering and under review with not only the city of Newberry, but FDOT, Water Management District, all the other state regional review agencies on infrastructure plans to serve those previously approved parts. So a major spine road, major utilities, everything putting in place to exactly do what you're saying is stimulate interest, because once you create something that has access and has developable sites, it goes a lot quicker. So, and these things do take time. It takes a lot of coordination. It takes a lot of time. And these things are not cheap endeavors. There's risk at the developer's actions. And so timing's got to be right. Now the timing is right. Those plans are moving forward. So it is the intent that getting this in place, this connection will be there. So then it offers just that even more of a variety in the residential types that'll be offered. Because like I said, the residential types in the town center portion are a little bit different than your traditional single family. So those actions and plans are moving. It just takes time. And because of the way this is progressing and because of the way certain analysis have to work, we kind of took a step back and took those first 2 phases of Sandia Town Park and this residential development and kind of assessed the impacts holistically, which we didn't technically have to do, but everybody thought that was a good approach. And so that has taken a little extra time. If you remember the project timeline for just this application, why it's been so long, that's mainly why. Because we kind of had to go back and reassess everything holistically so that we looked at traffic and utility impacts from all of this development. And all the infrastructure plans that are in place now reflect that. So there's a lot of things running concurrently. So it's not just sitting there and we're not just you know,
No,
trying
I
to stack
appreciate
up
it. Yeah, it's just
entitlement.
like, are you
There's-
just stacking up entitlements?
No,
to-
there's a lot of
It's like, great.
actual engineering plans going on behind this, and this is a good segue to introduce Travis Hasty with me. He is engineer of record for a lot of things going on out here, so he
Would
can
you
help.
say that the water treatment facility is also important to this? And
Oh,
that might
it's
be
necessary. I mean, it's
right.
absolutely
So that
necessary.
also might be a hold on development.
Yeah, and that is a separate issue that we've been working on with the city longer than this application. But yes, absolutely, there are things going on.
This was for you, actually, sir. I'm sorry. Craig, so if I'm understanding, because I wasn't on this board at the time when the original approval, I've
Sure.
only been here for 4 years. So the intent of the developer, if I'm understanding to summarize, is to build on the pre-approved ones that have been in the works for the last decade, and then have this as the backup plan for the single-family residences, because there's not an option for single-family residents within the initial developments,
There's
correct?
single family allowed in the original one, but there again, it may be at a different.
It's not as for
It-
the demand you might anticipate.
It may not be as traditional, different lot sizes, let's
Got
say,
it.
in there, than maybe, and there's a whole lot of different styles of residential development allowed in the town center. This
Right.
is straightforward, single-family residential subdivision.
Got it. And then my second question, where it overlaps with the initial development, this portion right here,
Right, where they connect.
are they gonna have like actual
Abs-
roadways throughout there?
That's,
So
that, everything, access and utilities all come through a connection point right there.
Okay, perfect. So people will have multiple options versus just going through 46th or
Absolutely.
the other ways.
That's right. So you'll come out there, then you can go northwest through the Spine Road, which is, like I said, what we're designing now.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
You're gonna have to go through, all that other stuff has to be built before they ever come to this piece.
That's exactly what I was
Okay, gotcha. If there's no further discussions, does somebody want to offer a motion? And all we're doing is sending this to the state.
Motion to send to the state, please.
Second,
Ms. Carey on the motion, Ms. Parker on the second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimous. Okay, we're to number 7. I guess this is our last item tonight, right? Harvest Singularity? This is quasi judicial, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. I read into the record the procedure. I don't think anybody else knew has entered into the room, so, come on now.
All right, good evening.
Fire away, Lauren.
Yes, Lauren Yetter, City of Newberry, Community Development, presenting or introducing a site and development plan, SDP 2510, which is Harvest Singularity. So the recommended motion to the Board of Adjustment to grant approval of a site and development plan with conditions. The Board of Adjustment hearing will be held on Monday, March 23rd, 2026. And so the Community Development Department received a request by NV5 Global Inc. and Harvest Singularity Newberry Farm 1 LLC, which are agents on behalf of Narita Davis, owner, for a site and development plan for a proposed 320,000 square foot aquaculture greenhouse facility. I think the representative of the agent's going to be here to clarify the aquaculture part of that, and related site improvements. The current zoning is agriculture technology, and that was actually recently changed in 2025, in September 25. And the future land use was corporate park, and that was amended in 2018. The project site is 22.95 acres of a 166.27 acre parcel, and there's the parcel number. And I have a couple of maps. Okay, so I included the aerial. The aerial might be a little more helpful. It's that the entire corporate park is that parcel that's outlined in red with that smaller rectangular outlined in yellow. That's Harvest Singularity. That's the project site.
167 acres?
Yes.
This is the 22 acres in the southeast corner. This is Newberry Road.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So generally located Newberry Road, State Road 26, and also 218th, I think, Street it is. So the property is located within the urban service area and also the Gateway Overlay District as well. And here is just a glimpse of the future build-out plan. That's the whole project site. In the southeast corner over there, that's where this particular Harvest Singularity, that particular project is located. And here's what we received, what staff received for the renderings. But I believe that the applicant has some more renderings to share. So our findings and conditions, find that the proposed site plan complies with the general site and development plan criteria, and also the comprehensive plan, and the LDRs, with the following recommended conditions. Prior to issuing a building permit, the owner, successor heirs, assigns shall submit construction drawings with their building permit application, demonstrating compliance with or exemption of building and site design guidelines for the Gateway Overlay District, including these categories within the overlay district: exterior finishes, walls that are greater than 50 feet, roofs, windows, signs, and also site amenities. And then also a clarification by the agent of aquaculture, greenhouse facilities, and its operation. And again, the recommended motion is to recommend to the Board of Adjustment to grant the approval of the site and development plan with those conditions. And if so, the Board of Adjustment hearing will be held on March 23rd, Monday, 2026. And I believe, just a summary, 320,000 square feet greenhouse facility and related site improvements. Application was submitted by NV5 Global Inc., agent, and also Harvest Singularity Newberry Farm 1 LLC, also agent, on behalf of Norita Davis, owner, in the Newberry Agritech Park. And I believe the...
Craig, you have some on this one too, or?
Yeah, I do.
Come on down.
Well, again, I will introduce Travis. He's the engineer of record. So I'm going to walk you through this presentation. There may be, if you have some detailed questions about the site or maybe some of the interior workings of the building, I'll either defer to Travis or Mr. Davis, who may have a little bit more information about some of those things. But I think the overall, I think I can present and relay to you in some of our interpretations of the code and some of the new code requirements that apply to this site. So that's kind of what we'll go through here. So again, was this a? Oh, there's just a wrong image there. I apologize for that. This is right. The text on the side is right. This one is a carryover. But yeah, it's for a 320,000 square foot greenhouse. As many of you know, the Agritech Park has been in the works for quite a number of years. Fortunately, we've been working with the city on this for a good amount of that time, starting back at the visioning to some of the comp plan and land development code updates to now we're fortunate to have the first user coming to the site. So it's a Harvest Singularity, hydroponic lettuce facility. This approach to the way that they are growing their product requires 95% less water. They're going to harvest rainwater on the site. They're massive vats to harvest rainwater on the site. It requires 94% less land than traditional agricultural to get a higher yield. And then at the end, the final product will be certified organic. Not necessarily that was the intent. It's just that their process does not use herbicides, fungicides, or pesticides. Yeah, I apologize, some of this didn't transfer over. But here is a look at the floor plan. So you can see that State Road 26, Newberry Road, is to the south. The access road, which is also the mining road, there will be an access agreement allowing access to this site will be provided on the eastern side. There will be another driveway access provided on the western side of the site. Here you can see the building sits down facing the road with parking, and then the office component of the building, which you can see in the elevations and hopefully are in the renderings here, are here in the southeastern corner of the site. So here, just to kind of emphasize some of the greenhouse components, this is, so some of the images I'm showing you are from a Harvest Singularity facility in Texas. Texas has some of the similar climate conditions as we do with heat, humidity. So that is all taken into account in the design of the building, and as you can see, some of the infrastructure within the building. And this facility here is also going to be producing lettuce. So these are pretty relative, I believe. Here's a shot of it from above. This is, again, the Texas facility. So here are the sections, and again, I apologize for the difficulty in reading this, but from the LDR, which apply to the Agricultural Technology Zoning District. The first one here is the intent. The proposed district is established to support economic development through the creation of proposed agricultural technology park located within the corporate limits of the city of Newberry. So that is obviously in line with the intent here. There's a dimensional and design requirements section of this zoning district. Greenhouses are exempt from that. So that is what I wanted, the main thing I was wanting to point out here, and I wanted to assure you that this is a greenhouse in its function. These are now some renderings of the facility being proposed. Do know that these are our first draft renderings. Some of these will be tweaked a little bit as we move forward as well. Back here you can see the harvesting of the rainwater that would then be incorporated into and those are taller towers than they may appear in this rendering. Here's a view from Newberry Road. Would want to point out that we are complying with the buffer and the landscape requirements of the Gateway Overlay District. What you're seeing here is shortly after installation, maybe a couple of years. So over time, this landscape will continue to grow and mature and fill in. And so the idea is, to screen that view as much as possible. And then here again is another view of the facility coming. This is if you're heading, the first one is a little bit more if you're heading westbound. This is eastbound. So there again, we would echo the city staff's conditions. We agree we'll continue providing information as they need it as things move forward. It is consistent with the comp plan and the LDR, and we would ask that you recommend approval of this. And I would just like to state again, we're very excited to be a part of this project. I'm actually using this as an example quite a bit. On Wednesday, if anybody's free, there's a ULI Urban Land Institute event. We'll be talking about this along with some other projects going on in the Alachua County area. So we're very excited about this, and I hope that y'all are as well.
Gotcha. Thanks, Greg.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what we're entertaining here is the site plan of where everything will kind of sit. This doesn't specifically speak to exactly the criteria of what the building will look like or any of that stuff or what color it'll look like. None of that stuff. Just where the big main components are going to be on the site. And as you saw in the diagram, if you could tell, it's all that property that's east of the Equestrian Center. And this particular piece is this extreme southeast corner of that. So it's the furthest east from the Equestrian Center and as close up to the road as the buffer was set in place by the commission a while back gets to the road. So with that, what questions does the board have of the applicant or staff?
Do we have an estimate of how tall the buildings will be?
I don't know it right off. It is
Travis
on.
up here.
Well, it's on the. Yeah, he got dressed up.
Don't be shy, Travis. Come say hi.
It is. There is height dimensions provided on the elevations that were submitted. I don't have that number right offhand.
So when we get to the actual building permit stuff,
There
it'll
will-
actually
We'll
have
talk
the
about it.
particulars
But,
on there.
yeah.
I don't know, it looked like it was 15 or 20 feet, maybe
I wouldn't-
25 feet.
I don't have that number memorized. I don't know. I don't think I had anything with the height on there.
Yeah, it said 31, I think. Huh? Oh, that's where I'm going. I'm trying. It's very slow.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
If I could see that.
22? 22's there. I don't know if that's.
Travis would have to do the math on it. It tells you the elevation, but I don't know what the.
So you can't
There's a number
escape today.
22 on it, but I don't know if that's indicative of the valley.
I thought
I'm
it was
gonna
30-something.
guess that it will be that tall.
Ish.
Do you have any questions of Travis? And force him to be up here.
I tried.
I know. 22 feet, okay, 22 feet, 22 feet.
I was correct.
Mr. Ched?
It's actually more of a, I don't know if the engineer can actually help answer that, but you said harvesting the rainwater on such a large scale. Like, what does that actually look like? What is that? Like, I know, it just piques my interest because obviously water is life, right? And it's like the demand is crazy right now for water. So if there's not sufficient rainwater, where are they getting water from to keep this going? And then, two, what does that do when we do actually finally get a monsoon or a drought buster and they have excess amount of water? Where does that extra water end up going? Like, I'm just like really curious on this large scale. I mean, this is beyond your typical rain barrel collection of a homeowner.
Sure. I'm glad you asked a question about the site plan.
I know, man, but I'm just curious to hear about this harvest. Like, he talked about it several times, so I'm like, I got
So good evening, Travis
a
Hasty.
harness. Yeah, no, you said harvest. Harvest rainwater, not harness.
It's harvest singularity, but they do
Yeah.
harvest rainwater. So good evening, Travis Hasty with NV5. So I don't know the exact size of the tanks. They are very large. The site plan's kind of misleading. And I think they get designed kind of again as we get further through the building permit process. So first question was the size. I don't know the exact size, but they are large. They'll handle, basically they're hoping they can use that for the majority of the water needs that they have for the site, which as Craig mentioned is quite a bit less on a per plant basis than a normal facility. Excess water would just go to stormwater like usual. So we designed the stormwater system essentially assuming the water doesn't go to the rain harvesting at all. So they're probably a little larger than necessary because of that, but we kind of have to assume the tanks are full in case we get those larger events.
Now, to the key question, we're in the middle of a drought.
So it'll be using
Like-
city water in that case, but
And
again, less than.
With all
less
the
than-
restrictions in place right now that Alachua County likes to throw at us, that's why I was.
Sure. Again, it'd be less than normal agriculture of the same type. I do know the facility ends up treating the water even further. They can't just use city water for their plants. It's not the grade that they want for their plants. So they do get treated more, but we will have a water meter for the facility to account for times when there's droughts.
Ms. Carey?
I just wanted to mention that I'm very excited because I live right next door to it. So as much as there's other people here that have items on the agenda today that it's right next to them, I live in Newberry Oaks as well as Melina does, and we're very excited about this coming because it's going to be bringing jobs to our community, which is the biggest part. So to see this so soon after the ag tech was approved last year is amazing. This is where things move faster, and I love that.
And my apologies, that question was not anything negative. It was more of curiosity and excitement and like wanting to learn more about it. So I'm really excited for you guys to be here.
Hi, I'm Stephen Davis. I'm the developer. The answer to your question is if this plant used nothing but city water, it'd use 40,000 gallons a day. Okay. Now, that's what would come in. Part of that gets reused. You're not using that much in the bit. All you really lose in water is what the final product that goes out the door, the water that's in that. That's all you're losing. Otherwise, it's recycled. Even on the inside of the building, condensation is collected off the inside of the walls. Okay? Rainwater's collected on the roof. Those 3 tanks are 415,000 gallons apiece. Okay? So over 1.2 million gallons, you're only using 40,000 gallons a day. Okay? We have all the time, once the roof goes on, we're collecting rainwater from that point until we get the facility open. That's just your startup water. Okay? So, you got to have a pretty good drought for it to become an issue. Those tanks will have lids on them, so they're not subject to evaporation. It's about as green as you can get, okay? The roof is translucent. It collects the water. That's why it looks like a sawtooth, okay? And we'll use a lot less electricity because of that. Okay.
Listen, I'm
If
really
anything,
excited
during the
about it.
summer, we'll have to put a coating on the roof because we got too much sunlight coming through.
Can I just say how cool that is?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm
this
sorry,
is
man. I
so
was just
It
like,
is.
you piquing my interest on like how much, like, this is really
Look,
cool.
you know,
So,
Alachua County talks about green. It doesn't get any greener than this. Show me one. You can't,
Yeah.
you won't find it.
So
I
if there's
was-
an,
sorry,
quick
go
question
ahead.
to piggyback. So if there was an excess, say the tanks are full and you're using whatever you want and there's excess of water, does it just run off? What
It
happened
runs
was-
into our retention system.
And how big is the retention system?
Big enough to size it like there were no tanks to begin with, as Travis just
okay,
told you.
okay, all right.
Okay? So it's a
So-
redundancy there that's way more than it needs to be.
Okay.
I should argue about that, but I won't.
I'm not trying to make more things difficult for you, sir. No. I just was curious because he mentioned about the what happens if there's an excess. So if there was future, because we have increased capacity and so forth in the community over the next 10, 15 years, if there was the need that the community needed water, is there any way to get the water back from you guys? If like you guys could sell it back? Just curious.
It's not set up for that right now.
I don't know if it could be set up that way.
know.
we're thinking.
I don't think you're allowed to
Right now,
sell,
it's
you're not allowed
strictly
to
a
sell
overflow.
rainwater.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if
Yeah, I
it's,
think
they're
the city would
maintaining it.
take offense to me trying to sell a utility.
I'm just saying, as someone who's next door that would like to have a
We're
green
net
lawn,
metering-
I'm
net
interested.
metering water.
Can I bring you a barrel and you just fill it up, put it in the back of the truck?
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Anything else? We good?
Anything from the public? Any questions from the public? All right, if there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion at this
I
time.
motion to.
Second.
I'm motioning on this one.
Third.
Commissioner, Board Member Ched on the motion and Ms. Parker on the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion passes unanimous. Okay. Very good.
It is, yes.
What a historic moment.
Very good. I have no agenda items. Topics for members for discussion. We'll start at the far end with Board Member Parker.
I want to bring up that the Newberry Historic Association is having a Reignite the Light event. And we are selling tickets. It is to renovate and preserve the historic light plant that is in town. It's over by Lois Fort Park. If you haven't seen it, it's this little brick building. It is currently in the city yard. But as many people know, they're doing a new water treatment facility. And so City Yard will move, and that building, we want to keep it preserved so that it can be used in the future for something for the community. So come out. You can find information on Facebook. You can talk to any of the members of the Historical Association.
Do you know who the chair of that is?
That would be me. So please find me. You can find me anywhere in town, really. Ask somebody, they'll give you my number. It's really easy to find me, unfortunately, sometimes. But no, I'm really willing to help. I want to see as many people out there as possible. Businesses, you could buy a table and have a bunch of people there. You can do individuals. Like it's just a really good night to come and bring out in the community. Plus, we'll have food, drinks, and a silent auction. So. And music.
Mr. Ched?
So I want to express my sincere gratitude to this board, to the city, to the community. As you're aware, I've served on this board for about 8 years, and I actually had to do something that I never thought I would do, and I had to turn in a resignation effective April 14th, which is Election Day, because if you are not aware, I will be running for city commissioner on this election season coming up. And so I want to thank the community for their prayers. I want to thank the community for your support, for the well wishes. Thank you so much. The phone calls, the messages have been amazing. But it's been a real pleasure serving on this board. I believe I only got one meeting left.
One more.
So yeah, thank you so much for the warm welcome, for entrusting me for all these years to be up here and asking the right questions. Being as annoying as I am to city staff, trying to get all the questions answered, I appreciate that. And as a city commissioner, you know that if I get elected, I will be asking the same hard questions on behalf of our citizens to protect our community as much as possible. So thank you for the opportunity to serve, and I look forward to earning your vote.
Ms. Park, or Ms. Carey?
Well, how do you follow up that, huh? I actually have a little personal event that's going on. Usually I'm always promoting, and Melina's already promoted for the event later on this month for the Newberry Historical Association, which I'm the vice chair over there. But I'm actually having, working with Amy, who's an attorney, doing some estate planning and business succession planning. In my day job, I'm an insurance broker and I help people with financial consulting and so forth. So we're having a little get together 4 p.m. this Saturday at Capricious. There's some information on Facebook. You're more than welcome, or if you're happy, you can reach me right after the meeting. It's complimentary to come. There's no fees or anything, just to get some information. If you're in the midst of wanting to get some more information about what do you do with your estate, how does probate, those things affect you, or if you're looking to get a succession plan to help you and your family so that you don't have those what if questions, feel free to come out. It's my little way of giving back free consulting advice to the community. So thanks so much.
Thank you. I want to take an opportunity to kind of just say all great having new faces in here tonight. I tried to over-explain kind of what was going on. And again, this is a recommendation board. They really have no authority to really do anything, but they are sort of the first vetting process for the commission. So the process, these applications come through the staff. Then the staff does a presentation here for this board first. This board can sort of give feedback that the staff can then relay back to the applicant. And then the applicant can take that advice or not. When they submit their application, it goes to the city commission next. So if the staff has done their job and the board here has done their job based on the direction that the commission has signaled and given them in the past, then most of these things should be teed up to get approval by the commission, most of the times unanimously, because they've dotted all the i's and crossed all the t's. So I know publicly sometimes it looks like the commission just approves everything. That's actually a sign that all the other stuff is working correctly. The staff did what they were supposed to do. This board vetted it, gave feedback, did their recommendations, et cetera, as well. So just wanted to put that out there. I'm happy to stick around. I don't have a ride home tonight at the moment, so I gotta figure that out. But if you got any other questions, that's not a plea, don't worry. No, but hopefully that is a little bit of education on the process. If you got any questions, just come up after the meeting. I'm happy to help you out. Madam Attorney, you got anything? All right, we are. Well, do we have public comment? Yeah. Okay. Meeting is adjourned.
You need to ride me.